we're just gonna continue a little bit because we're of course right now in the current, but if you look behind us, will see the eagle. It's now flying on the left-hand side of the road. And now there's three of them. So we have 3 eagles following us right now. So if you're not outside, I suggest you go outside. Right side. Not too many people today, so maybe, I don't know, you get a better view by being up on the Sunday, but try to make sure that you can see it, of course, from the front of the spot. Right now you see the eagle coming in on the right-hand side. Not too many people today, so maybe, I don't know, you get a better view by being up on the Sunday. You see it, of course, from the front of the spot. Right now you see the eagle.
Yeah.
Everyone ready?
Yes.
We have another one still.
go out on a walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. You don't have to tell me anything that's new. I just wanna go out on a walk with you. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine, sailing over pavement with our two outlines. I like to see the shape you're in from time to time. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine. I just wanna see the same things you can see, understand the meaning on a new degree. Maybe that could happen when you're next to me. I just wanna see the same things you can see. Could be 20 minutes or an hour or two. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. I just wanna go out on a walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk.
This mountain, it's about 25,000 square meters of space. It cost quite a lot back in those days.
pine straw to the fire. Turn the boxes right side down. Tired pulling every day. All the shifting, can we take it? Drawing circles in the sand. Washing out new plans. Sing out blue whale. Old man in the water. Slow motion, ocean river. Carry on into the sea changes. Sea changes. Carry on into the sea changes. Sea changes. Moving closer to the breaking waves, wild country full of heartache. Hard to hear through all the ringing, what the silent deep is saying. Sing out, blue whale, old man in the water. Slow motion, ocean river. Carry on into the sea changes. Sea changes. Carry on into the sea changes. Sea changes. Sing out, blue whale, old man in the water. Slow motion, ocean river. Hey mama, could you get up soon? I get so cold in the other room. Here I am, honey, half awake. Get yourself moving and you'll be okay. Morning star, clear and true. Your honesty could pierce my heart right through. Plans are paper, I'm afraid. Get yourself moving and you'll be okay. Hey Pepper, give us a shake in the newborn grass. You're sure to find a snake. Don't let the serpent change your pace. Get yourself moving and you'll be okay. There's a dream weaver that won't let me alone, and it turns my heart into a heavy stone. Look at the maker in the face. Get yourself moving and you'll be okay. Get yourself moving. Get yourself moving. Get yourself moving.
cucumbers or boots, whatever you might find down there. The worst case scenario, you will get stuck so bad that you lose the whole bait. It happens sometimes, it's not the end of the world, but then we will have to put on a new one, and it will take time off from your fishing. So 5 times and you're above the bottom. Now the jigging part comes in. Sometimes we fish at 80 meters, sometimes we fish at 40 meters, but it's pitch black down there. The fish don't see it even though they have eyes. They have like a beard, like I do, which they use to sense things around. So we want to create vibrations. And we go up, we go down, up and down. Not too slow, you want the fish to be interested, but not too fast, you don't want them to get suspicious. So think like a fish. And every now and then, if you ask some of our older captains who have been fishing here their whole lives, they're gonna say that you need to get angry. And you need to like rip it up aggressively. And patience, just do it. You don't need to reel it in. You want the bait to stay at the bottom until a fish bites. 90% of the time you're gonna feel it, something, some sort of tension, and then just relax and take it up like this, hook it in the mouth, and then you reel it in. If you're unsure, you think you have something, just reel it in and see. Worst case scenario, well, not worst, if it's 80 meters deep, at least maybe you don't have something on your hook, but you will have a workout. 80 meters is a lot to reel in. And it's 500 grams, 80 meters, 500 grams, probably weighs more when it's underwater. So, yeah. But yeah, quick demonstration again. Release the lever, hold your thumb here, just to brake a little bit. Go, continue, just let it go all the way until you're at the bottom. Now we hit the bottom, lock, 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and then up and down, up and down. And yeah, most important thing I would say is just be careful when you're swinging this one around. And then a good way that you can do it to lock it